Hello, are you ready to learn a new piano piece? I'm Françoise and today I'm going to teach you a new piece, the music from the film Requiem for a Dream, composed by Clint Mansell. This tutorial is great for beginner pianists, even absolute beginners. All you need to know is how to locate the notes on the keyboard. In the second part of this lesson, I'll go a bit further, adding a few challenges that will be geared toward pianists with a slightly higher level, let's say in the first year or second year. So this course is built progressively, starting in the simplest way, with just one note, and gradually with each repetition of the theme, each measure, there will be a teeny bit more difficulty, but nothing hard, so you can progress at your own pace. This is basically the technique I use when I figure out a piece by ear, as well when I read sheet music. So we will start with the bass, then we will add chords, and then a very simple melody, and then we will enrich it bit by bit. Once the piece is fluid with a super simple arrangement, we will arrange it by adding small challenges to enrich this arrangement. So if at some point it becomes too difficult for you, because later on I'll be playing arpeggios with the left hand, if you've just started piano, that will be obviously too hard for you. So you have to stop there and keep practicing the previous part. As it's always the same theme, you can always play it simply. If, on the other hand, you already have a few months of practice, then you can move on to the next steps and start enriching the arrangement. Before we begin, I invite you to click the link down here in the description. This link will take you to my website and the page dedicated to this piece. On that page you'll find the next parts of this course, as well as a link to the sheet music and the MIDI file if you want to practice later with Synthesia. And on the course introduction page you'll find the original video that I use as a base to build the arrangement of my cover. In this course I'll try to stay as close as possible to that arrangement, which also corresponds to the sheet music I've published, as well as the MIDI file. So first we'll start with a quick analysis of the piece, which will make the learning process much easier. So the piece is in G minor. Here the middle of the keyboard is here with middle C. So as I say, the piece is in a G minor. If you click on the original video, I invite you to listen to the music and at the same time play G's following the rhythm. Any G, the middle one, higher or lower, wherever you want on the keyboard, any G. Do this for the entire length of the song. This will allow you to soak in the key of the piece and really memorize the sound of G. This G is truly the base of the piece. We will find this G all the time throughout the whole song. It's really the main note and everything is built starting from this G. And we will start now right away with the first exercise. So here is the middle C. The middle of the keyboard is here, middle C. We have a first G just below and then another G 1 octave lower. So we are going to start with this G with just the thumb, and we'll play it steadily. Now if we look at the top of the sheet music, like in all sheet music, there is always a little marking that indicates the tempo of the piece. In this case, it's noted as 60 BPM. That means there are 60 beats per minute, so 1 beat every second. Here in the first 2 measures, all you have to play are Gs on every beat, so 1 G every second. And so we are going to play this G 8 times. So now we are going to add a tiny bit of difficulty, because this is the introduction to the piece, and so we are going to bring things in gently to really get into the mood of the film. So we will start very softly as possible, and with each repetition we will play the note louder and louder, as if the sound is coming from afar and getting closer. And at the same time press the pedal. Listen, if I play without the pedal it's quite dry. Now if I press the pedal, we have more resonance in this G. Normally at this level you shouldn't have any difficulty. So now we are going to add a little extra challenge. That's the chord progression. Returning to the theoretical part, I say we were in G minor. In every key there is a corresponding scale, a 7-note scale, starting with G. In this case, in G minor, there are 2 flats in the key signature, which are B and E. So the G minor scale will be G, A, B flat, C, D, E flat, F. These 7 notes are the ones we can use for the melody of the piece, but I reassure you right away, in this piece we won't use all the notes. It will be much simpler than that. And since we are in a minor key, sometimes an extra note can be used, which is the raised 7, an accidental, which will be F sharp here. So we have our 7-note scales, which are also 7 degrees once we talk about accompaniment. So we have 7 degree, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And on each of these degrees we can build a chord. For the G chord, to build this chord, we take the G, we skip the next note, take the 3rd, skip the 4th, and take the 5th. So that's the G chord. If you want to take the A, we take the A, skip the B, take the C, skip the D, and take the E flat. So that's the A chord, and so on for the rest. And in every piece, to create the accompaniment, there is always what we call a chord progression. In this case, so in this song, we'll call the chord progression 1, 6, 5. That is, we'll use degrees 1, 6, and 5. So degree 1 is G, degree 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is E flat, and the 5th degree is just before it, D. So we'll only have 3 chords in this piece, and these 3 chords will loop around. It will be the same thing throughout the song, G, E flat, and D. Now that we know our chord progression, we can start adding it. For now, we've just done a little introduction. Now we will start adding these chords. Instead of doing the E flat higher, we'll do it below and then the D. For the G, we'll stay for 4 beats. We can do 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll play the G twice, that's up to you. Then 2 beats on the E flat and then 2 beats on the D. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can pause the video and practice playing these 3 notes in rhythm. Once you can do it without any trouble, you can move on to the next part. Now that you have memorized these 3 notes, we will add another small challenge. It's the same note, what we call an octave lower, so the note at the octave with a little finger this time. We'll play G for 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. So just watch the thumb, and since the hand keeps the same spread, if we play the E flat here, the little finger will naturally fall on the E flat an octave lower. So count 2 beats and go down to the D for 2 beats again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now pause the video and practice this passage. Now for the next part we will add another small difficulty. We start by playing the 2 Gs as we saw, but on beats 2, 3 and 4 we will continue playing our G as we did for the first 2 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we go down to E flat, and on the second beat we play the E flat above, and on the third beat we play the Ds, and on the fourth beat we play the D above. I'll show you again slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you ask why am I playing so low, because I could very well do it here. Just listen. Think a bit about what you feel when you hear the notes played here. Or if I play them in the very deep bass. You see the atmosphere created by playing on one octave rather than another. The more we go into the treble, the lighter and happier it will be. And the more we play in the bass, the more serious, dark, even aggressive sometimes it becomes. It creates a completely different mood. And here, as it's film music without lyrics, we need to be able to really express emotions, feelings. And that's what we will play with by changing octaves. We will be able to create these different emotions, these different atmospheres. And here, since the film is quite heavy, we'll start with an introduction to really get into the subjects quite quickly. Well, here we have something truly heavy and dark. I will show you again from the beginning, including the first two measures. And that's it for the first part. We have finished one loop. Now we are going to repeat this loop and add yet another small challenge for the following measures. So we start with the 2 Gs, and we will simply the same note with the right hand, just one octave above. And that's already 2 loops done. It's not much more difficult. I repeat once more with G, E flat, D. And now we will start adding part of the violins that we hear. But first, let's go back to a bit of theory. We had G, A, B flat, C, D, A flat and F as the notes of the scale. We'll start from G for the theme and we'll go up 3 notes, G, A, B flat. So 3 times 1 note, G, A, B flat. And for a second loop, what we will do is go down 1 note each time, G, F, E flat. And I'll continue playing the left hand as we saw before. B flat, then we go down now. If you have mastered it perfectly with one finger, you can try adding the octave. So instead of playing G, A, B flat, we'll play octaves each time. Then G, F, E flat. Now, if you're sitting too close to the piano, you'll see that your arm will be blocked by your body. So if you can reach this position, it's because you are sitting too close to the piano. So what you need to do is to move back slightly, not too far either. You need to be able to reach the ends of the piano without having to lean, but move back enough so that you can play, for example, the E flats here, without having to lean too much or move to the side. You can always tilt a little bit, but it has to stay comfortable. So we will repeat this loop with the notes in octaves. And that's it for the first part. So now we have finished studying the introduction. Now we are going to start adding the melody. And for that, I'll see you in the next video.